Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Magic Pause podcast. I am your host, Annalena. And today I want to talk about manifestation and how I think manifestation is going to work in 2025 and beyond, from what I have learned from human design in particular. So, the old way of how many of us learn about manifestation is very much this concept of, well, know what you want, get really clear on that, and then make a vision board, keep visualizing it, keep thinking about it, and make it happen, right? And then also we have learned, I think now more recently from many teachers, that it's very important to tune into the feeling of it, because it's not really about manifesting the thing or the circumstance. It's more so that we want to manifest the feeling. And if we can already now feel that feeling now, then it's almost like we're collapsing time and can tune into that. But that's much easier said than being done. It's something that I am continuously working on. So the feeling part, because I think that helps us a lot with being detached from the outcome, where it's like, well, I can feel this happy and fulfilled now, and I don't really need the thing anymore. You know what I mean? So this is kind of in a nutshell what we see a lot out there. And now, so in human design, if you look at your human design chart, whichever chart resonates with you, if that's your tropical chart, your true sidereal version, at the top right, so if you look at the head in the human design chart, and then there are two arrows to the right of the head, and the one at the lower one, right? It can either point to the left towards your head, or it can point to the right away from the head. And when it's pointing towards to the left of the head, then we say in human design that you are a specific manifesting type. And if it's pointing to the right, we say you are non-specific manifesting type. And I'm going to explain to you what both of these mean. And then I'm going to share with you my perspective on how this can help us to manifest this coming year and beyond. So the left pointing arrow, which we call the specific manifesting type, means that very much this traditional manifestation teachings is telling us, okay, get very specific on what you want, like get into all of the details, right? Like if you want to have a Christmas present, like, let's say it's a specific outfit you want to have, like you want to really say what is the color and what is the fabric you want to have, and go into all the details with that. And then we want to visualize it, we want to feel into it, we want to think about it, but it all starts with being very, very specific about it, right? So it's a very masculine way of manifesting. And the non-specific manifesting type here, the emphasis is simply on how you want to feel. So it wouldn't be a specific outfit with a color and the shape and the fabric. It would be more so, I just want to have an outfit where I feel luxurious, or where I just feel amazing in my skin, right? So, and then just more tuning into the feeling of things. So I have to say that I can resonate with both ideas to some extent. And I have found over time that it's really a blend of both of these concepts. And I'm going to share what I have found rings true to me, and it may be different to you, right? I'm just sharing here my reflections while I'm inviting you to, come up with your own. So, because actually in my human design chart in the tropical, and also in one of my true sidereal versions, I have actually the left pointing arrow, which is a specific manifesting type. And I was like, oh, this is really not who I am. But as I dig deeper, I can say that I can have very specific expectations of what I want. If it's not exactly what I was envisioning, then I'm very easily disappointed, and I cannot fake it. I'm like, oh yeah, oh, thank you so much. And because it's not exactly, I don't like the color, or if something is like not exactly how I would like it to be, even though I didn't know what I wanted, then I, cannot just pretend that it's what I wanted. So But the other thing is that I have always found it, or many times found it very hard to be really specific. Well, I was just like, I don't know what I want. Like I just don't know. And I was often very judgy on myself, where I thought that there's something wrong with me because I don't know. But what I have found is that there are times when I'm not looking for anything, when nobody's asking me to specific, where it's coming from my heart. It's coming from, I think, connecting to God, source, universe in some way, where this desire gets planted in my being, which is very specific, where there is something that I really want. But I have to say, this is more general stuff that I want in life when it comes to something I see long term for my business, for example, or that I envision myself living really more surrounded by nature, and that I want to spend more time in the mountains, for example, and that I love to travel to certain places, right? So, and there's a specific country that I'm really keen on, for example. So there are some specifics. Or with food, I can be very specific. I'm very, very particular when it comes to food and what I like and what I don't like. But that just comes naturally out of me. Yeah. But when people come to me and like, whoa, what do you want? Or what are your exact plans for your businesses next year? I'm like, okay, well, I go with the flow of life and I just keep responding to life. And I don't know, I cannot make too much plans. I cannot be too specific. Yeah. And here I find that for the most part, I actually tune more into how I want to feel. And I want to feel that I'm being of service. I want to feel I do really meaningful work. I also want to feel that the work I put in gets adequately compensated, right? So there's like a healthy energy exchange. But how this will exactly look like, I'm not the type of person to say, like, I need to have X amount of clients and it has to come through this specific program. Um, and I may be able to say this now for the next 3 or 4 months, where I have a little bit of an idea of what are the programs I'm launching. But this has also taken me several years of trying out a lot of different things, and just literally going with the flow of the inspiration that comes to me and when people were asking me and responding to things and experimenting literally left and right. So with that, I cannot say that, yeah, I'm a totally specific manifesting type. Like, I would say absolutely not. But I can also not say that I'm 100% like just tune into the feeling, because there are times, I think, when it's meant to be, where I can be very specific. And this is why I want to say that it may be a blend of all these energies. And overall, I have also noticed with this shift that I think we're seeing globally, where we're more shifting away from the left brain energy, where everything is about planning and trying to figure things out, and having all the steps figured out in advance, because that all comes very much from the head, right, and the thinking. And I think also to create, in a way, this illusion of safety. But we humans, we like to have this safety, because when we plan it, it kind of gives us this, yeah, sensation of, okay, I got this covered, I got this figured out. And that can work, I think, to some extent, and we can put a lot of effort and a lot of hard work into it. But I do think that then limits us to the possibilities that are there that we are not even aware of. And I want to bring into this something that I may have mentioned several times already on this podcast and other occasions. So I learned at some point that in quantum physics, there's this field of the unknown, which we're so scared of, right? It's one of the gates in human design, gate 57. The biggest fear here is the fear of the unknown. And then, we often like don't do the thing because we're scared of what's going to happen in the future, but then also we limit what could be possible at the same time. And so this field of the unknown is about 99.99999% of all the possibilities. And the field of the known, like, the things that we think are certain and how we're going to do things and exactly what we want, is only, I think, 1 divided by 2 million or something percent, right? It's like next to nothing. It's so tiny and so small. And that really gave me this aha moment where I was like, wow, with this very left brain focused way of manifesting, where we are telling ourselves we need to know what we want. Because to me, when I know what I want, most often it comes from the mind, especially when we're being asked or we feel like we need to know what we want, right? And that is all based on things that I already know exist in the world. And oh, yeah, I want to have this house like this person. I want to manifest X amount of clients, or I want to write a book, or, things that we have already seen in the world and we kind of know exist, or what we consider maybe a success or a fulfilled life. But when I can surrender more into the field of the unknown, where I think it's more this right brain energy with the arrow that points to the right, which is this non-specific manifesting type, where it's more about how we would like to feel, like when you are being your best self, you want to feel confident this coming year, you want to step into your full power, express yourself authentically and all of that, and really make an impact in the world. And also allow financial abundance, however that is aligned for you and your lifestyle. So when I tune into this energy, I think I'm actually so much more powerful in terms of manifestation, because I am open and I am receptive to this big field and the unlimited possibilities in the unknown, those things we cannot even think of, right? We don't even know that they can exist. And I mean, we as humans, as a society, as a collective, we keep constantly evolving. And what we have today, and if we look back like 100 years or 200 years ago, like, I think that's when we start to see like, wow, nobody could have planned for this, right? Because most likely there was a person that had the courage to trust themselves so deeply, not knowing where it would lead them. And out of this, we create new things, we innovate. And I really believe that this is how manifestation is going to work so much better and more effortlessly going forward. This is, of course, from my own experience, but also from the hundreds of clients I have been working with. If that's in masterclasses, group containers, or one-on-one coaching. Because anytime people follow these very planned out processes, which is all based on, oh, we know this works, right? And of course, there's certain things that are helpful for us, right? But if we focus too much on just this one way, which is so limited at the end of the day, of how to do something or how to have success, of how to have a fulfilled life, and often it's also because of what other people are telling us we should do, and then we start to get disconnected from what may be a desire in our heart that just comes naturally about at some point when we're not really looking for it, right? And yeah, when we can more lean into this not knowing and receiving guidance in every moment, I think that's how we can manifest the most beautiful, magical things. And of course, this requires so much trust. It requires so much surrender and faith, because again, for us humans not to know, it doesn't feel safe, right? And I think it's so beautiful for all of us to lean more into this, because it also helps us to move through a lot of fears, because the fear of the unknown, like I was saying, is one of the really big fears we have. And I think in a way, this very left brain type of manifestation is also a way to avoid facing these fears, because we create this illusion of safety and having it all figured out, right? And the other thing is, in human design, the really big message for every human design type is that the mind is not here to make decisions. The mind is not here to figure things out. The decision really happens in the body. It's a feeling in the body. If that's, you can say it's your sacral response, or sometimes you have to talk things out and still feel how it feels in your body. it has also to do with, allowing yourself not to make quick decisions when emotions are high or low. Sometimes you just know in the moment, right, that there's something is for you, and it oftentimes really doesn't make sense. But this is really what all of human design is about, to help us lean more into the field of unlimited possibilities in the unknown, where you start to manifest what is really aligned for you. And often, like I said, the mind cannot even comprehend this. You may have this overall sense of direction where you're heading towards. That's often the energy that we receive from the G center. Most likely, if you have a defined G center, that comes a little bit easier to you. With an undefined G center, that may take a little bit more time to really tune into this energy, but it's absolutely possible for all of us to feel this, more sense of direction for within yourself, where you're kind of like, where you're heading overall more energetically, and maybe you have a big vision, but you hold it lightly. And you can let go of all the details of needing to know how it's all going to manifest, while as you keep following your body and what feels right in your body, which is basically the same as saying, like, follow your human design authority, you start to manifest or magnetize. And this is also now the G center in human design, is called the magnetic monopole, right? Where we just magically draw in the things that are meant for us. And the mind is the most powerful when we can use it in the context of asking powerful questions. So curiosity is going to be extremely helpful when it comes to that, wondering, like, I wonder what is possible for me, or I'm curious, what is my highest destiny? I'm curious, how can I impact the most amount of people with the gifts that I was given? Yeah. And we also have learned this from the teachings of God and Jesus in the Bible, that you ask and you shall be given. And when we think about manifestation, the kind of old way is we are telling God how it's supposed to be. Like, this is what I want, right? It often comes from the ego. And I think it's a very off energy for me, versus if I lean into, like, me asking God, okay, what is that aligned path for me? How am I supposed to be really of service in the world? Then I am open to also see and be aware of the little nuggets that the universe is putting right in front of me, which is this idea of following the breadcrumbs. And then I'm taking one step at a time, as I always lean into what feels right in my body. And then we can start to, manifest this big, bold magic that, again, the mind probably couldn't even comprehend. And the other element I want to bring into this is also something I learned from two gene keys in particular. So there's the first gene key and the second gene key, which is equivalent to the first and second gate in human design. It just goes a little bit more into depth through the beautiful writings of Richard Rudd. And in the gene keys book, he writes that, in the gene keys, and also in the hexagrams from the Chinese I Ching, I mean, obviously, the first hexagram is number 1, and then is number 2. But he says that I think it was a mistake, because the first gene key is the most masculine energy. It's about the doing, and the more like, know what you want and go do it, right? And the second gene key is the most feminine of all of the energies in the entire gene keys, or the 64 hexagrams in the Chinese I Ching. It's called the receptive. It's the most feminine. And he clearly states that it should be flipped around, because when we can fully lean into the feminine, where we are more into a state of allowing and receiving guidance and letting life, letting God show us what is meant on our unique path. And then we respond with the body, right? We have that feeling in the body. This is for me. And you may still be scared to take action. You may doubt yourself. You may have fears come up, totally normal. But then it's on us to actually tap into the masculine and take the action from responding to life. And I think then we can really manifest in the most powerful way. And the other thing is also, this whole word manifestation, I think, is a little bit overrated, because we all manifest all the time, right? Everything that you currently have in your life, you have manifested, if you want to say it like this, right? Because I think sometimes we're really hard on us and we tell ourselves like, well, I can't manifest, it doesn't work, and it may work for other people, or we compare ourselves, but that really doesn't lead us to anything. And I think we're all master manifestors, and the more we can lean into the more responsive, more the right brain way, where we are leaning back. Again, you may have a big vision on overall direction for yourself. Or for example, you may know that you're meant to write a book, or you're meant to develop a new app for something, or you have this big calling. But then we kind of let go of needing to know how and when, because something gets planted within you in your heart. That's literally, I find, for me, it's like God is planting this within you for a reason, because it's supposed to manifest. But it has to start with this vision where we then also, from your heart space can start to feel into it more, focus on it more, but keep it with a sense of lightness and a sense of detachment. And this is also wisdom you will find in many of the different gene keys and human design gates, this energy of like, yeah, have a vision, or imagine something. So gate 64 and gate 51 come here both to my mind. They're both very related to that. But then don't over obsess about it and try to force it and make it happen, right? Because then again, the ego kicks in and how we think it should be. And when we can really lean into more trusting and surrendering while we hold the big dream or vision we may have, or the thing that we kind of know deep inside we're meant to manifest, then we can actually, I think, accelerate the manifestation process because we are receptive to the guidance of how to make it happen. And of course, the more patience we can have, the more it will also benefit from us. Because I know for myself, when I'm impatient, then I get really frustrated. I try to force things. I try to push too hard. And then usually the universe is like, okay, that's not how it's supposed to work. You need to learn another lesson here. And then it kind of prolongs even further until I can lean into this, like not needing to know anymore, not needing it to happen anymore. And then often it comes actually faster than I could have planned for. So this is how manifestation has been working for me for all these years. And I always felt a little bit off because I thought I have to do it the way that it's still mostly being taught in the world, this very left brain kind of way. Now, I have noticed that I have been talking about this over the years again and again and again. I also many times have received beautiful feedback from other guest speakers on my podcast and also with my clients. And it just feels so true to me. And with that, I want to say that even though this may be my truth, doesn't have to be exactly the same for everyone, because there is the old, there is the new, and there's also an in between, right? Just like we have temperature, we have very cold, we have very hot, and we have everything in between. And we may still have in society a lot of people where this more left brain kind of manifestation just feels more natural to them and it works, right? And then we have people that are totally 100% more into the fully surrender and everything. And then there may be like a blend of it. So it's very important, I find, that I let you know that the only thing that matters is your truth with that. Because I always notice when somebody says something to me of like, this is how it is. This is how we manifest. Like, I need to have the space to really let it sink in and how it feels in my body and what feels true to me. But anytime I'm being told like, this is how it is and this is how it is and there's no other way around it, I already feel a constriction within myself. I feel like my freedom is cut off and everything, because the other thing that human design teaches, obviously, is that we're all different, we're all unique. And it's called the science of differentiation. And what I feel overall is that the collective energy is more and more gently, slowly moving into this more feminine way of what I like to call surrendered manifestation, right? Where we're more leaning into trusting and following your body, having the courage to take certain actions, even though the fears kick in. And then we start to call in these opportunities and manifestations again that we couldn't even have planned from the mind from. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I hope it serves you. I hope it sparked a little bit of inspiration within yourself to also reflect for you how you would like to move into this coming year and beyond, and how to approach manifestation and see it in a little bit more gentle and lighter way, so it hopefully empowers you and allows you to really step more boldly into what I like to call God's plan for you, because you have a very unique path and purpose. And I think the more we can trust and keep taking action on this path, which I think is often the hardest, because we just don't know, right, how it's going to work out. But what I can tell you, that's one thing I can tell you kind of for sure. Like, we never know until we try and we actually take action. And I think especially for so many introverts, highly sensitive empath, that's very much my audience. That's very much how the terms I resonate with a lot, is that we can often tend to hide a lot and hold back. And this is my little, kick in the butt to you to, step into some of the things that deep inside you're here to take action on, even though you don't have it all figured out and it may not make any sense. But that is the beauty of really surrendering into the unknown and letting the magic unfold. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this week's Magic Pause. I wish you an amazing holiday season if you happen to celebrate. And I'm sending you all my love and all my blessings. And until next time, bye everyone.